had a website, but it was almost like a vanity project back then. Now it is like an entrance fee to have a business.
Good. Hey, I wanted to let you know that the Google guarantee, the Google ads, man, I'm getting 12 to 16 calls a week.
My goal is at least do 10 to 15 more years, grow it up, sell it for 40, 50 million, maybe more.
Hey there, I'm Sam, an engineer at Topline Pro. This is Titan Talks. Today, we're talking to Andy Stalker from Patriot Power Washing and several other businesses. Patriot is based in Las Vegas, Nevada. Andy, thanks for joining. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. For starters, do you want to just tell us about the businesses you own and how you got started?
I own Patriot Power Washing here in Las Vegas. I own Patriot Junk Removal and Dumpster Rentals here in Las Vegas. And I also own another power washing company down in Phoenix, Arizona called Veteran Pro Wash. And as far as
go
getting
ahead.
started, I started this business after I retired 20 years in law enforcement. I moved down to Las Vegas from Washington State and started something just to kind of supplement my retirement. And before I could even get into my retirement, I got called by a friend who was working on the border wall down in Nogales, Mexico, south of Tucson. And he knew I had a power washing business. And 5 years ago, I went down to the border and started washing the new wall that was going up before they paint it, sterilizing it so they could paint it. And that's more or less how I kind of grew very fast, was getting that job. I had 65 people working for me down there on the wall. That's probably the biggest job I've ever been on. It was mammoth, spread from San Diego clear to El Paso, Texas.
Wow. Okay. So you were in law enforcement, retired from that, were looking for, a way to just supplement your income. Was power washing on the radar at that point? Did you know that that's how you wanted to make your money?
Yeah, I've owned businesses since 1996. I owned a t-shirt embroidery silkscreen business. I did that when our kids were growing up. There was a need in our small town in Washington. That worked out well. We moved to Vegas. I wanted to start something that I could, just make a little extra money. Started the business with $2,500. And that's how I met you guys. Someone called me from there. It was a brand new business back then, asking me if I wanted a website. And I said no. And they were persistent kept calling me back, asking me, you sure you don't want a website? And I think I was one of the first five people to get a website. So you guys, at the time, it was very, very inexpensive. It was only $25 at the time.
Okay.
So I kind of got in at the good time. And I'd have to say it was probably the best thing I ever did for my business, by far. I didn't think I needed a website. And after getting the website, the calls came in, made my business look more professional. You have to look the part to be the part type thing. And I've been very, very happy with how your company has grown. It's made my company grow. I couldn't have done it without you guys. So it kind of works hand in hand. It was the best decision I ever made for $25 at the time. So
It sounds like a well worth it $25 spend. So
yeah,
I didn't realize you were quite that early of an adopter, but that's really, really cool. And I guess just can we sort of summarize the growth? I mean, $2,500 to start the business, $25 for a website, and now you've got 3 businesses.
Right.
And how many employees, how many jobs would you
Uh,
estimate?
you know, my first year when I first started this, I was talking to my wife and I joined all these groups on Facebook. Uh,
Mhm.
there were pressure washing groups, and I was telling my wife about a few guys that I was watching on there and how, they went from making 5,000, making 35 to 5,000 a month, doing okay. That's good extra money on top of a retirement or on top of another job that you have a main job to do it like a side job. And I told her, I was like, these guys after 7 years are making 60,000 a month. And my wife, who's a school teacher, was a school teacher. She kind of patted me on the shoulder and said, "Well, we all have dreams." And she kind of chuckled about it. And I had a 3-year business plan. And I didn't make goals big enough to where I couldn't achieve them. I kind of took baby steps, but getting thrown down on the border wall, it really it just put me in the fast lane really quick because all the big contractors in the United States now know who I am, which really helps me. We just did a job for Las Vegas Motor Speedway for Monster Energy, the Supercross championships up here. They turned the 4-lane drag strip into a motocross racetrack, and they brought in 15,000 loads of dirt, and buried it 15 feet deep with dirt. And then it was my job after it was over. We had 3 days to clean it up and get it ready for drag racing on that next Friday. So it was definitely a challenge. Another pretty large scale job. Um, and I think that's what kind of helped me. It was just getting to know all these contractors and getting my name out there. So, there's a lot of people in the general contracting if they need power washing, large jobs. For instance, the job we're on now, working for Google, and we're down at one of their gigafactories here in Henderson, Nevada, and we're washing these huge cooling towers, big swamp coolers, and they take us about a week to do. There's 10 of them that we have to work on. So another large scale is I think I have 7 guys down here today working. But as far as how I guess grown over the past, I've been in business 6 years, and I went from making 3,500 a month to over 100,000 a month. So um, it's uh, it's been good. I mean, I've learned a lot. Had to hire a lot of people. As soon as you start getting big jobs, you need to have banks that back you for equipment. I started off with a rolling pressure washer thrown in the back of my truck to now uh, I've got 5 trailer systems, let alone the junk removal and dumpster rentals. So it's been a learning curve too. I've learned a lot about business. Got to find a good CPA and good insurance, and just people that know how to handle the paperwork part side of the business.
So, all right. Sounds it's a pretty crazy growth curve. Just hearing about how big you've gotten and the kind of jobs you're pulling. And to me, someone who is daunted by raking leaves in my yard, like, can you just sort of give me a picture of what it takes to complete and leave a customer satisfied on a job the size of like the border wall? Like, did you have to scale up rapidly to meet the demand of that job? Were you already
Yeah, I
prepared
had to
for
grow
something of that?
very
Okay.
quickly. On a scale where I was just working by myself with maybe one other helper to managing 65 guys, you know, and 7 trailers down there. And, luckily I worked for I was subbed out by a big company. Uh, Stinger Bridge and Iron was one of the companies. Um, and you know, the bigger construction companies, they don't want to deal with the pressure washing part. That's minuscule to them. Um, you know, that was you know, billions of dollars down there, uh, project. And, you know, we'll see. I might be going back down there here at the first of the year. It sounds like we might. So actually, had a meeting in Phoenix yesterday. So we'll see what happens. They got to appropriate the money first to finish the wall. But, I'm hoping we can continue, right where we left off here 4 years ago. So cool.
Okay, so I want to talk about the way that you use technology in your business today. I mean, obviously you spoke about Topline Pro in the very beginning, really having a website and being able to get found. You talked about having someone to help you with all the paperwork. It must take a lot of uh, different, you know, products and apps and websites to keep you going.
Right.
How do you do it all? What do you use?
Well, I don't do it by myself. My wife here, about 2.5 years ago, she quit her job as a school teacher and just came to work for me. And luckily for me, I married someone who's very smart. So, uh, she's got her master's and she's very organized, which, you know, she just lets me go do my chaotic thing. And she kind of keeps everything organized as far as licenses, permits, and, um, QuickBooks, you know, we use QuickBooks. That way, you know, we also have an account that does our books too, but I'm the type of guy, I want to know where my business is at, you know, by the hour. So if I
Yeah.
want to jump onto my phone and look at my QuickBooks, I know exactly, you know, what I did last month as far as, you know, what I made and, you know, where our money was spent. And, same thing with advertising. You know, when I first started, I was spending probably, I don't know, $600 a month for advertising, um, and doing Google ads and stuff. Now I really don't advertise. I've pretty much got my name out there where I don't need to offhand, but, it's, it's still a challenge. I mean, with the amount of, jobs that we do, residential and commercial, like commercial jobs, you know, we still do driveways. We still do garages, house washes. We wash pool decks and patios, wash, equipment for construction companies, you know, like loaders and dump trucks, mining equipment here. So we're still doing other stuff rather than big commercial jobs. The commercial jobs, you know, we have accounts with us. We do all the Sonic drive-throughs in Vegas. We do all the Outbacks. We do all the Black Bear diners, CVS's. So there's a long list of different, um, commercial jobs that we do, but we still do the residential part too. So residential customers still send me out there. I'm the one that if you call my number, I'm the one that answers. I don't have anybody answering my phone for me. I want to be the person talking to the customers. So, I talk to all customers. What usually happens is I send my, crew on Google Calendar, share it with them. They know exactly what stops. So I make the routes out for them. So logistically, they're not running from one part of the city to the other back and forth. They more or less work in one designated area for the day. And, they contact me after they're done with each customer with photos. And, I call every customer after we're done, asking them how their experience was, if they're satisfied. You know, my main thing is, if you look at my Google and Yelp reviews, I've got, I don't, probably close to 100 reviews on each site that, you know, I want to know how my crews are doing. And Luckily for me, I've got really good guys working for me who kind of, they take the business as theirs too, and that comes with paying. You got to pay good employees. You got to pay them well, keep them, or they're going to move on. So, I've been real fortunate. Most of the guys I got, the main three guys have been working with me for 5 years now. So, very, very fortunate for that.
So yeah, it sounds like I mean, I'm really impressed by the fact that you're answering the phone and you're, asking people for reviews. It sounds like you're a pretty busy guy, and I'm wondering if it's possible that, every inch of this country has been power washed by your guys at some point. Um, you've got your wife helping out with some of the administrative stuff. You've got these guys that you can trust. Uh, can you talk a little bit about in depth about hiring? I mean, we hear it from a lot of people that it's a struggle. You have to pay people if you want to keep them. You've had these guys with you for 5 years. And while it sounds like you still do a lot yourself, you have to have people you can trust to run an operation this big. Like, I guess let's frame it as this, like, what advice would you have for other business owners out there when it comes to people management?
Well, I think it is a struggle finding good people. I look for laborers. Just, some of the younger kids. We have friends of the family uh, that live here in town that have high school, juniors and seniors that want to work during the summer, and I usually employ them, help them out. Try to, show them the business. I've also had other people flying. I've had, we see one from Nashville, one from Dallas, one from Coeur d'Alene, another one from Idaho, and then several here that have started or asked about starting pressure washing businesses. And I've, you know, for me, trying to explain to them how to run a business and what you're going to need for a power washing business. Like I tell them, it'd be better off you just flying here to Vegas and working with me for a week. And I've had everybody do that. I've had at least seven or eight people do that. And they went back to these other towns and started their business. And it's just, for me, I learn better hands on and somebody telling me what I need rather than showing me what I need. It works better for me. And I'm a better teacher, I guess, if I can have them work with me and explain things with them. And, it seems to work. I mean, I've had everybody that's come to Vegas to work with me, has started their own business and they're very successful so far. So, as far as hiring people, yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge finding people that really want to work. Everybody wants to start off at $40 an hour, and it's like for me, I start people off, in my business here. They're not going to pressure wash when they first get here. They're going to learn, how to pressure wash from my main guys. They're basically holding hoses and, go get me this, go get me that type guys. But, I've had people stick around and turn out to be really good employees. And I've had some employees where, they last one day and they just don't think it's for them. So, it is a challenge, finding good people.
It
So,
sounds like you've become like an industry mentor. Would you say that, or
well, I
more
don't,
of a
I don't know
network?
I don't know everything, but I hope to teach people what not to do, and save them the heartache and money. And, you know, it seems like in this industry, there's a lot of, uh, gadgets that you can buy. It's just kind of a waste of money instead of just, uh, go with the old school stuff that we have, the guns and tips and everything else. But, um, yeah, I don't know. The industry's changed a lot. And I think the industry's about to change too. If it depends on regulations, like I don't do anything in California. And the reason why is just because the regulations there, you have to reclaim all your water. You have to, some of the, I think starting, I think next year, here in a month, that, you know, more or less, I went to this convention and they want all electric, no gas motors. They want electric pressure washers, which I don't know how that's going to work out. So,
So I really like what you said about like teaching people what not to do. Do you feel like that sort of style of teaching comes more from like the law enforcement background, parenting, being a veteran? Like,
I think, well, and any type of business you own, like I had a t-shirt embroidery business for 15 years. And, I knew how to run one of those very well. And I taught other police officers to do that, you know, uh, on their downtime, or firemen. I have firemen friends too. But, uh, you know, when you get into an industry or a job, like running a podcast, I'm sure you could tell me how to do a podcast where I would have no clue. And I might think I
not
need to
sure
buy
about that.
a $500,000 studio to do a podcast in, where you could really just buy a microphone and, you know, I guess insulate a closet and go in there and start doing your podcast. But, as far as the power washing business, um, yeah, I know what works and what doesn't work. I don't know everything. I still learn things from other people. Uh, and I like to learn new things. The challenges are for me. That's what I like. I think like my wife patting me on the shoulder and telling me good luck. That was a challenge to me. And, I wanted to, you know, I remember the day when I went to her and I said, "Hey, it's time to eat crow." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, I said, "We did it." And she goes, "What did we do?" And I said, "We did over 60,000 this month." And, it's, it's, I can't explain how. I'm very, very fortunate. And, I, I would have never in my wildest dreams thought that the businesses would be doing as well as they are right now. If you had told me 5 years ago where I'd be at right now, I'd laugh. It would be no way. It's been a lot of hard work. I couldn't have done it by myself. There's no way. Um, like I said, I talked to a friend of mine who owns Hotsy here, Aaron Muller, and he owns like 9 or 10 businesses. He owns quite a few businesses. And I love talking to him and picking his brain about business. I love to learn about business and, what to do, what not to do. And, Aaron's been a very good mentor for me, learning from him. And, it's a gamble, and are you willing to take the gamble? So for me, I took the gamble and it's paid off so far. But, I got in touch with, I went from a sole proprietor to an LLC. And when I did that, I got in touch with a really good CPA. And then the CPA put me in touch with a bookkeeper. The bookkeeper put me in touch with a banker at US Bank. And then the banker put me in touch with a strategist on, where to put my money, how to, what cards to get, everything to do with it. So, and these are the same people I'm dealing with. I haven't switched anything. They've been great to me. And I'm not going away. Well, like top line, I'm not leaving them to, I get calls all the time for, let me do a website for you. And it's like, no, I'm good. I already got a website. It's working for me. I don't, I don't, I don't want to look at anything else. I'm good. So, I think you just got to look in your area. My business might not be successful somewhere else, but here in Las Vegas, we have, there's a lot of money here in town. a lot of high end customers as far as residential. Lots of neighborhoods that, we're talking 3-4 million and up houses that
Wow.
like monthly cleanings. So it might not work in rural Missouri. So, but here it does.
Yeah. I want to just look forward into the future a little bit because where you are, I mean, you are certainly pulling in enough to cover that sort of idea that you had, years back of just sort of supplementing your retirement.
Yeah.
And what, like, what's your goal moving forward? Like, are you going to grow and grow and grow? Or are you looking is there some sort of exit in the future that you're looking for with a true retirement?
I
You
don't know
think
if my wife tells me that she doesn't ever see me retiring because I would go crazy. I need to be
Mhm.
busy and, I enjoy it. So if I'm still enjoying it, there's days where I just, I want to go home and go to bed. Just tired. I've
Yeah.
been going since 4:30 this morning. I won't
Wow,
get home until 5 tonight.
it's a long day.
And then start planning tomorrow. It's uh I I want to grow the business down in Phoenix to where I'm the same level as I have here in Las Vegas. Uh as far as the dumpster rental business, junk removal, uh yeah, I just started that here about 6 months ago. So we're still growing on that. But I try to, my niche is this business is doing so well that I can afford to do things fairly cheap for veterans. And um, we give veterans a large discount here. We do senior citizens, law enforcement, firemen. Um, we do Gold Star families for free. Um,
Wow.
I have a few Gold Star families here in Las Vegas that they call once or twice a year, and we go up and do everything for free for them. That's just the veteran community is that's where it's at for me. I really decided to give back to the veteran community. So
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. And thank you for your service as well.
I think
Um, I think we're, coming up on time, but just, a couple quick ones before we wrap up. Like, what would you say? You said there's a learning curve to this, definitely. What's the biggest challenge or obstacle that you feel like you faced in getting the business where it is now?
well, I think the big for other people, I think people think that I see guys go out and purchase a $30,000 pressure washing trailer right at the beginning. And then in about 2 to 3 months, you see that same trailer on Facebook Marketplace. They're selling it. And they try to get too big too soon. It's about baby steps. And, one bad financial decision when you first get started can basically break your company. And, I think if you just take your growth spurt and sit back and go, is it a want or is it a need?
Mm,
Yeah, I'd like to have, a huge trailer with these big pressure washers, but if you don't have, if that trailer's sitting out in front of your house not working, then you didn't need it. I think that's one of the good things that I've done so far is I have my wife to kind of tell me no. Uh,
mhm.
there's times where I've wanted to, I just want to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but the numbers don't lie. And her and I sit down and we talk about it. I talk to the strategist. We look at, income and overhead and everything else. Do I need another trailer or can I still get by with using what I got? And that's usually what I do. Um, there's there's been a time, my first trailer that I bought, I thought, well, I'll never outgrow this. This will be the trailer. And then within 6 months, I was getting calls for big industrial jobs to where that big trailer really wasn't big enough. I needed to build a bigger one. And that's the one we're using down here right now. And, I mean, that is as big as you're really going to get. And I think that's the advantage I have here in Las Vegas is really no one has the equipment like I have. So I have other pressure washing companies calling me all the time. Hey, can you come over and lend us a hand on a big job? And, we kind of go partners on it because they wouldn't be able to do it without me. So, and for us, it's just extra income for the guys. So, uh, I as far as obstacles for me, um, I think growing as fast as I have, the obstacle is just finding a place to be able to put all my equipment. Uh,
Mm.
you know, or not industrial, but commercial property here is very expensive. If you wanted a 1 acre, a 1 acre lot with a shop on it, you're talking $2 to $3 million.
Wow.
And, I've got by with, you know, doing favors for, construction companies, large construction companies here. Like, let me wash your equipment if you let me keep my equipment in your yard.
Oh, smart.
And that's worked, kind of he's getting something from me and I'm getting something from him. So it works out well. But I think managing people, that's probably the hardest is, there's times where guys work out really good for you. And then there's times where, they work good for you for about 3 days. And then
Mm.
I'm going to be your best labor you've ever had. And you were for 3 days. And after that, it kind of fallen off. But
Yeah.
my main core guys are great workers. They don't need to be babysat, which is really good. I trust them. I can leave town and leave the leave the business to them and be fully confident that things need to get taken care of.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It sounds like not overextending financially when the business is early and a bit more fragile, keeping good people around, and finding a place to keep all your equipment. There's a bit of a theme of sort of networking and building your community throughout this whole thing. I mean, whether it's the veteran community, it's the
Right.
all of the different sort of power washing business owners that you have mentored or talked with, or having just the sort of nuclear core of guys that you can trust, so that you can leave the business in their hands for a short
Right.
time. And I think it kind of speaks to you in the way that you are and the way that you run your business, which is awesome. Um, yeah. Do you have any thoughts about that before we
Well,
up?
I think I think it's just a matter of, you need to get your name out there. Uh getting your name out there and then getting customers to, I don't want it, like I tell my customers, I don't want a one and done thing. I want a relationship with them to where, if there's anything that needs done around their house, there's no hesitation. They're going to call me back. I offer discounts for return customers. Um, luckily for me, all my commercial accounts, my big accounts like Sonic and Outback, I've had them for 5+ years. It's been a great run, with them. And I think it's just about, my old first sergeant in the Army, I had him as like a quality control guy. Um, he would go around to my accounts and check in on them, making sure everything was good to go with them and they were happy. And, my wife does the same thing. She gets out on the market and, you know, we, we do a lot of branding where, uh, all my guys, they wear Patriot Power Washing shirts
Yeah.
on their off time too.
Wow.
I give them hats, give out a lot of hats and a lot of shirts and everything else. So
Oh, I think I lost you there for a second. Uh, well, we'll we'll wrap it up there. Andy, it's been great talking with you. I think that it's really especially cool. You know, I'm a software engineer for Topline Pro, and a lot of our servers might be in that gigafactory that you're washing. So it's kind of, you know, Topline Pro is getting you your business. You're washing the Google factory. We're using them for our services. So it's a kind of a cool way to leave things. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and best of luck with all your businesses. It's been great talking to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Hey, have a good rest of your day, Andy.
it. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.